Okay, we'll be going to the next speaker. The next speaker we have here is none other person than evangelist Dr. Mrs. Belema Solomon Felicia is a staff member of the Rivers State University Universal Basic Education Board, UBA. She studied counseling, psychology, and had her BEd in the University of Ibadan, master's and PhD in the University of Port Harcourt. She has contributed to renowned journals and has had an award of impact on education. Dr. Belema Felicia is a youth advocate who has researched many areas on matters affecting youth. She is a marriage counselor with Deeper Life Christian Life Ministry, and she's happily married and a devoted wife with 5 young adults. She is an entrepreneur and owned Unique Moms and Babes collection. That's a wonderful one to hear from you, Ma. So we appreciate she'll be anchoring on a topic. We're anchoring on a topic, building a culture of excellence, transforming schools through visionary leadership. So let us put our hands together as we welcome evangelist Dr. Mrs. Belema. Put your hands together as we welcome her on stage. Ma, the mic's up to you. Thank you, Ma. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. She's a deal name. Now we are considering a vital top evening beyond academic life, leadership, and employability. To share my slide now, we'll drop it on the. It is obvious that there are 3 domains of learning. Tools are tilting toward men, and it is impacting negatively on our. As a result, there is this upsurge of meanness and moral decadence, because the moment they go through, it's all about learning, getting certification, and all of that. At the end of time, you see them roaming themselves involved in juvenile delinquencies. Many vices have been perpetrated this period or this time around. These young ones there. When you go to the rehabilitation center, most of our young ones are there because they've not harnessed their potential adequately. There should be that technological competency, intelligence, emotional intelligence has to do with empathy, being empathic. When you see these young ones as an educator school, sometimes when you don't know what they are going through, you might not know enough. You might just pick up a cane, you flog them when they're to talk on them harshly, you are hostile and all of that. It's not supposed to be. There's supposed to be empathy, there's supposed to be emotional regulation, self-awareness, and social skills on the part of the educators. Then there is supposed to be integrity. And when these are being incorporated, you'll be able to lead them, because for you to be able to lead, you must be able to model what you are actually about. So now the rationale for this discourse is not far-fetched, because in as much as these graduates are having some regard poor self-esteem, yes, because all of these things are not being taught them. It's only the academic alone, only to pass exam. And when once they're not able to pass exam, you see the reverse of the other way around affecting them. Like a girl recently that at length wrote JAMB, for the fact that she did not meet up the cutoff, this girl had to commit suicide. If this girl had the privilege of learning how to be resilient, how to know that for you to fail is just the beginning of success, because by the time you go through the failure, success will be knocking at the door. Probably she hadn't this opportunity, these trainings and all of that. That was why she had to commit suicide, and she eventually lost her life. So there are a lot of problems these young people are facing. Sometimes communication skill is not also there. In many schools today, they don't embark on extracurricular activity. They only go through how to pass chemistry, physics, and all of that. No leadership training. And to this end, the facilitator wants to make us look at these areas to see that the narrative should be changed so that educators should be able to see the need to thrive, to help these young learners thrive in higher education, workplace, and entrepreneurship, or let's put it, civil life inclusive. So before we go further in this discourse, we want to talk about the meaning of academic excellence. What is academic excellence? This is a pursuit of high quality learning and intellectual development characterized by mastery of knowledge, critical thinking, ethical conduct, and consistent achievement. When you have to pursue it, there must be a period of development alongside of it. Then what is leadership? Leadership is the ability to influence, inspire, and guide individuals or group towards achieving a shared goal or vision. It's unfortunate that a lot of people don't really understand the meaning of leadership. They just feel is to acquire, is to only grab, and all of that. To live the life, to model the life while others follow suit. And take note of the fact that leadership is not just what happens when you are not there. It's what happens when, it's not what happens when you are there, it's what happens when you are not there. So if we're able to inculcate this into the lives of these learners, it's going to go a long way to help them actualize their aim in life. Then employability is the combination of knowledge, skills, personal qualities, attitudes, and experiences that enable. It's quite unfortunate that some learners haven't gone through secondary school, tertiary, they're gallivanting. They will still be in their parents' house, eating their food, eating their parents' money. It's quite appalling. I have a son by the special grace of God that finished, he gained admission at 15 years of age, finished at about 20 years. And as I speak with you, since my son finished his tertiary institution, he has been autonomous. He hasn't come to the house to say, oh, I'm coming to stay with you. My mother, my father, take good care of me. He has been on his own, fending for himself. He has rented his apartment from the age of 21. This boy has been almost today. People in the long run so that they will not be nuisance in the society. So there are key areas we shall be considering this evening. One of it is beyond academic excellence. Number two, preparing learners for life. Then thirdly, we are looking at developing leadership capacity. And lastly, preparing learners for employability. So the number one of it is beyond academic excellence. Our focus should go beyond the gaining certificates, passing examination, and all of that. We should be able to look at the priority that is centered on learners. We shouldn't help learners to be half-baked and be future and impute risk in their future because of how probably there is a gap in one area or the other we are not looking at. We should be able to incorporate the area of creativity, resilience, ethical values, and what have you. These are very, very paramount. Our first speaker analyzed on this. I may not need to go further in it. Then point 2, preparing learners for life. Prepares for life is quite vague, because the learner may not even be which she is going to. So the learner would need direction. To build a good foundation is the whole work of the educator, to help the learner get focused. Help these learners build good foundation in order to harness their potentials and what have you. And so the place of the educator in this respect is to incorporate the parent too. As a teacher, you don't work alone, because the parents spend some time too with these young people. If you are not able to teach the parent, you may not be able to do the work alone. There should be a serious network among teachers in the school. There should be a serious networking, putting things together to ensure that these learners are given an enabling environment. There should be healthy relationship and adaptation to changes in every circumstances. There are certain skills these learners must put in place. The educators must put in place. Rather, there must be art transformation, clear-cut art transformation. When this is not there, that you may not be able to the best, because when you draw closer to God as a learner or an educator, it gives you upper privileges with God. God will entrust you with so many opportunities when you draw much closer to God. So what we are considering is what the educators need to put in place. Now, building good self-esteem. When the educator builds good self-esteem, it can be passed to the learner from time to time. There must be emotional intelligence, financial literacy, digital literacy, adaptability and resilience. Time management and personal responsibility are all important factors that the educator can push to the learners to make them what they ought to be. Then thirdly, we shall be looking at developing leadership capacity. I'm sure you are getting what I'm trying to put across to us. Can I hear some responses, please? Can I hear some responses, please? Nobody is talking.
We can hear you.
Are you getting it at all? All right, thank you. For the sake of time, I'm going further. The third point is developing leadership capacity. Leadership is not reserved only for those holding formal positions. Every learner can develop leadership qualities through intentional experiences that encourage initiative, integrity, and accountability. Effective schools create opportunity for students to lead projects and teams. Our first speaker emphasized on it as if it was even delving into what I'm supposed to talk about. There must be an engagement in real project and teamwork. They should be able to participate in student governance. You can teach them how to embark on free and fair politics and all of that. They should also engage in top peers, practice ethical decision making. They should be able to build confidence through public speaking and presentations. All of these are what creates to see that the holistic aspect of learners is achieved, not the half-baked aspect of the learners. Then lastly, we're considering preparing learner employment. We want to prepare our learners that by the time they are done with their coursework, they are done with tertiary institutions, they should be able to meet up in society, interact freely with the society. But once they are not given the right platform, probably when they were in school, there wasn't time for presentation, there wasn't time for quiz, there wasn't time for the tendency to build them morally and otherwise. You find out that by the time they mix up in the outer world, it poses a lot of challenges on them. I've learned about a young lady that is doing very well. She has been doing very well, quite all right, but she has this particular challenge that she's into painting, doing acoustic work in buildings and all of that. But you know, one thing about this woman is that the moment she interacts with a job, but the moment she having loggerhead with them, having fracas with them, and in the long run, it's as if our clients are diminishing from time to time. So if such a person had had the opportunity of embracing the right platform while in school or whatever, it wouldn't have been like that. And so we should be able to tilt our learners towards employability skills include teamwork, creativity and innovation, digital competence, practical ethical decision making. They should be able to build confidence through public speaking and presentations. Some, because of their own front, because of their personal upbringing, probably they came up from an hostile home, hostile environment. It has initiated a very poor self-concept on them, and they are beginning to exhibit inferiority complex. And when such learner is in an environment, as an educator, how do you help this learner come out of that low self-esteem? So it's very imperative that our educators should be sensitive enough to see that all of these things are looked at. Now, having looked at the fourth point, we want to see how educators can strategize to ensure that these learners are given adequate platform. Now, they should ensure absolute guidance and direction from God, and seeking help from God is very paramount. As an educator, you cannot do it with your physical strength. Knowledge and wisdom comes from God. Before you go to the classroom, ensure you have time with God. You seek God for direction. When God gives you the direction, it goes for a long way for you to be able to impact your learners. Then number two, you should be able to you should be able to exhibit project-based and inquiry-based learning. Project-based. Our first speak-based activities, community engagement projects, clubs and extracurricular programs, career mentoring and coaching, technology integrated learning, which our second speaker deliberated on. There should be real-world problem-solving activities, real-world problem-solving activities. There should be also reflective learning and portfolio development. When we talk about reflective learning, is about putting learning into action and experience. In school, when we are learning, when we are teaching these young ones, to materials that will convey our drive, it's going to go a long way. Now, what is the call to action here? Having looked at all this, number one, educators should be able to make teaching and learning very interactive. They should make it very, very interactive. Then number two, there should be written exercise before embarking on learning. Do you know that the children you are taking care of, some are even from rural environments, and as they should be able to be sensitive enough to understand the challenges of those young people. The moment the affective is affected, the cognitive can never be put in place, because these three domains are interconnected. So you might be thinking you want to impart, you want to help the children learn. Some of them may be in class and they are just off. They pay less attention to classroom instruction and all of that. So you should be able to be, as an educator, you should be sensitive enough to see how you can help them be of their best. So there should be deep breathing exercise. The deep breathing exercise will ward off the tension. It will relieve them from stress, and it will calm their nerves to enable them do well in classroom instruction. Then you should be able to ensure classroom environment. You should be able to ensure that the classroom environment is free from tension. Like I earlier said, provide them opportunity for hands-on activity, hands-on activity in every class. What is the meaning of hands-on activity? They are expressing materials that is made use of, like chess, Scrabble, and other indoor games. All of these games and whatever build the mental capacity of the learners. Then we should be able to carry out quiz competition where everybody can be a winner and display learners' artwork on the classroom walls. Whenever they embark on any learning artwork, you display them on the classroom walls. They can also get themselves involved in cookery skills, tailoring skills, and computer-based skills. I think with all of these, in conclusion, I would like to say that educators or leaders are to help learners not only to excel academically, but to create a learning environment that embraces skills, leadership, development, and employability. This will help produce graduates who are resilient, innovative, responsible, and equipped to contribute meaningfully to their communities and global economy. I think this will go a long way by the special grace of God. Thank you very much. I needed to rush because of time. God bless you.
Wow, this is wonderful. This is great. This is explicit. Thank you so much, Ma. Evangelist Dr. Elema. Thank you, Ma. You really did justice to this.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate, just like you've taught us, and we really, really appreciate on this building a culture of excellence. We really, really appreciate. Thank you. Please, let's put the hands together for Ma. Thank you so much for Evangelist Dr. Belema. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate. We do appreciate. Thank you so much.
Thank
so,
you.
audience, I believe you've learned a lot. You've gained a lot from her. So you still go to her handle and reach out to her if you have some questions. A lot to reach out to her. Get to her handle, our WhatsApp handle, and for more discussion or more questions. And I believe she will do justice to that. Thank you, madam. And so we really want to go into the next, but I believe again, we've learned a lot. Just like she earlier said, educators have to be very, very sensitive to help learners understand their environment. Not only that, too, as educators, we are to network with parents to help these learners develop, grow in whatsoever they are aspiring for. So please, as educators, these are the things we need to grab and move on in future. Well, thank you. I appreciate you, Ma. We appreciate you, Dr. Belema.